Happy Wednesday, Facebook friends. I'm excited to connect with you all on this beautiful Wednesday. It's gorgeous here on Galveston Island. Really, actually, really nice weather. It's hot, but thankfully not insanely humid. But I wanted to come to you guys live today and actually do a follow up from a live video that I did a couple of weeks ago. And that video was about my McMansion story. And I probably have gotten more responses, comments, feedback, messages um, on that video than any video I've ever done before. So I felt like, okay, that actually resonated with people. And I'm not the only one who's possibly been in a situation like that before. And for those of you that did reach out to me, it actually felt really great to hear from you and that it made an impact. So thank you for that. Number one, thank you. But I thought, maybe it's important since it did touch so many people that I do a follow up to that video because I feel like there's so much more to that story that has possibly not been told and you possibly may not be aware of. I know those that are in my close, tight knit community are, my tight world, but it's not that I'm walking around telling the masses the continuation of that story. So for those that might not have seen that video, I'm not going to go through all the details of it again, but essentially we were in a big home that we had recently purchased. I had my second baby. All of a sudden I wanted to stay home and be with my babies and not have to go back into the corporate job that I had had for 12 years. And when I shared that with my husband, his response was, well, we can do that. You can stay home, but we're going to have to sell the house and we're going to have to downsize. So we, ended up downsizing. We hadn't been in the home that long. We were afraid everybody was going to think we were failures and crazy and, not level-headed people. The response that we got was the opposite of that. People were so supportive and so on board. And it was just such a valuable life lesson that we learned that had someone told us that's how we feel, we had to experience it. I had to experience it to then know what I wanted in life. So anyway, fast forward, we downsized and we were in another home that we ended up, creating and making our family home that we raised our babies in and lived in for 12 years. We made it our own over time. But I think the powerful continuation of that story is had we not taken that leap, had we not gotten bold enough to do what we wanted, not worry about what we thought other people, wanted for us or what we thought we needed to be doing, it might not have set us up in a scenario where I could then go into, the next chapter of my life. What I knew I wanted to close was my chapter of being a corporate America employee, working mother. I wanted to go into a chapter where I had flexibility. I could choose what I did, when I did it, around my kids' lives, schedules, and I wanted to be able to be available and have flexibility. And so once we made that switch and we were in the new home, or not a new home, it was an older home that was much smaller, not nearly as nice, but anyway, and we changed our budget, like we tweaked the budget big time. And I was shopping at Target for my clothes, and I wasn't going out lunching with friends. And I was really having to make it work on one income. And then this little side business that I had at that time been doing on the side around my other day job. That's when I started focusing on building that side business. And at the time that business was in the wedding industry. And what I found really quickly was that I actually loved I loved working that business because it was something at the time that I was really passionate about. And I actually didn't mind putting the time in because number one, I was doing it around my schedule when I wanted. I was my own boss. I was, calling the shots. I was working it around my baby's nap times and schedules and play dates and all of those things. And I learned very quickly, like, actually, I'm actually a fairly decent businesswoman. Like, I'm actually kind of good at this. And I really got into my groove, and I started kind of setting little mini goals for myself. And all of a sudden it was like, well, maybe I could, we could start doing a little bit more if I started building this income to be even more and things like that. And over time I did. Over time I built that business to be a beautiful business that worked really well for me for almost 10 years. And it wasn't until Hurricane Ike in 2008 and the um, the economy in Texas and Houston specifically then tanking, that then led me to another like sharp right turn. And it was those two, is a natural disaster and an economic disaster occurring, that all of a sudden put me in a place where I needed to potentially figure out a way to earn it more income, because we had started beefing up our lifestyle. We had added on a master bedroom addition. We had remodeled our home. We were taking vacations and doing all those things that you do when you start bringing in more dough into the family. And I'd kind of gotten used to that lifestyle a little bit. And I mean, could I have gone back and done what I did 10 years prior? I could have, but I also believed in myself that actually that might not have to be the answer that time. And maybe there was another way that I could layer my income in order to cover some of these costs that were not currently being covered because of the downturn in my business. That's when I turned to direct sales. And I joined another company that I ended up being with for 10 years. But what that offered me at that moment in my time was the opportunity to have a way to cover our home improvement loan when I was kind of worried where the money was going to come from. It gave me the opportunity to put my two boys in occupational therapy, which came to the tune of $1,500 a month, and insurance wasn't covering it. Without that, I didn't know where that. It was either I don't know where the money's going to come from, or they just won't do this. And I knew they needed it, and I wanted to be able to provide that to them. And you know, there's moments when I think to myself, what if I had not been willing to try that? What if I had let the fear of what others might think, the fear of how am I going to fit it in, the fear of, I'm not really, a jewelry person, the fear of I'm not a fashionista, like all those fears that were in my head for that particular scenario, I was, I think back and I think, what if I would have let those things keep me from doing it anyway? Wow, what kind of impact could that have had on our life? Well, I can tell you right now, I know what the impact would have been. It would have been huge, because that decision to try a little business on the side and see if I could, sell a little jewelry, it ended up changing my life. And I discovered somebody within me that I didn't even know existed. And that led to more financial freedom than I could have ever imagined. And it led to me being able to touch more people's lives than I could have ever imagined. And I can't, it truly, when I think about what if, like that is almost haunting to me. And I'm so glad that I walked through the door. And, I've learned through that process, you have to always walk through the door. I've watched our kids' activities come across the plate, and they're not really wanting to do it. And, we're wanting them to try it. And sometimes you have to finagle a bit and there's some negotiation involved. But then I look at what happens when they do it, how much they thrive and they love it, how it's kind of life-changing for them. And I think to myself, what if they had not walked through that door? Like, How crazy would that have been? And so I think because I've had a couple of those scenarios now, like what if we had not downsized our house? My life would look very different today because I wouldn't have been able to leave corporate America, probably still be stuck doing something I wasn't loving and stuck making a salary that I was not in control of. And, thankfully, I got myself out of that situation to put myself in a better situation where I could actually go, blow the water off what I ever made, or blow the top off what I ever made in corporate America, and put myself in a better scenario where I actually could earn what I was worth. And, you know, yes, I took a leap of faith a few months ago and have partnered with a new company, and I'm excited and honored to be a part of it. Of course, it didn't come without fear. I mean, never have big decisions in our lives been made without fear being there. But when I think about the what if I'd let the fear keep me from making that move, I'm like, that's crazy town. Like, I mean, I've always led my life in a way where and I have to remind myself, I haven't let fear keep me from doing the things in the past. Can't let fear stop me this time. When we took a leap of faith and we moved to Galveston Island, which is a place we now call home, and I love. I wish I could show you, but I'm looking at the water right now, and it's rocks. People thought we were crazy. They thought we were crazy. How can you move to Galveston Island? You can't put your kids in school in Galveston Island. I mean, what are you going to do there? People literally said things to my face that I could have been offended by, but I just thought they don't, they don't have the knowledge, and that's fine. Like, it's totally fine. And one of the things I've learned having moved here now is actually the people of Galveston, like the Galvestonians that have like been here forever, the BOIers, as they refer to them, the born on the island people, they like this little secret being kept a secret. They actually don't want the masses moving here because they like their small town living. They like people thinking you can't put your kids in school here. So anyway, thankfully, I didn't let the fear of what other people might think or what they were saying about us, because I didn't let that fear get in my way. We made that move. We made that decision. And I had to remind myself at that moment, I didn't let fear stop me last time. Didn't let my fear stop me the time before that. Can't let fear stop me this time either. And that decision has paid off hugely for us. I go back to, there's a few moments in each of our lives where at the time we were making a decision to lead us down a certain path. And at the time when I was downsizing and getting rid of the McMansion, it was because I wanted to be home with my babies and not, have to answer to a boss that wasn't being very nice to me. Well, look what it did. It opened the door of opportunity for me. It allowed me to blossom, to be this to discover what was inside of me that I didn't even know was there. And it gave me the opportunity to go find financial freedom in a way that I would read about, but I didn't even think was possible. And what I've learned about myself through all of these life lessons, the 49 years of wisdom that I have, is life's too short. When you're doing something that you love, that you're passionate about, it does not feel like work, and you don't mind doing a lot of it. And you can't make decisions in life based on the what ifs. Now, I'm not one that jumps into things without thinking. Like, I do my due diligence. I'm very thorough, but I really encourage each and every one of you. I know there are things that you're facing in your life right now. It might be moving your kid to a different school. It might be letting him stop one sport to start another sport. It might be, an opportunity for, maybe your spouse to go take a different job that might take you to a different suburb or a different city or a different state. And there's the fear of that. And what if this and what if that? And never would I say jump in without, looking at all the options, but don't let the fear hold you from what might be the one thing in your life that is a game changer for you. And one of the things I've discovered about myself is I'm really passionate about helping women. Not that I don't want to help a man. I love chatting with our friends that are men that are business owners and talking shop and learning about their businesses and sharing ideas. I mean, I literally love that. But I'm really passionate about helping women um, earn significant income, and significant is different to each woman. What is significant to each person is different, obviously. But I'm passionate in helping them earn significant income because I'm a believer when I can help women earn more. I know what women do with the more money that they earn. Women are givers. We redistribute that. We don't keep it all to ourselves. It's not like we want to earn more so we can like go buy a bunch of designer handbags and designer shoes. I mean, maybe something on occasion is lovely and like I mean, that's awesome. But we are redistributing that. We're giving our kids better opportunities. We're, maybe providing opportunities for our spouses to do things they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Maybe we are giving more to our community. Maybe we're giving more to our church. Maybe we're giving more to our neighborhood. Maybe we're putting on, fundraisers in our community and giving back. Like there's so many things that I find that women do with that extra income that they bring into their life. It gives them choices, and that's what I'm really passionate about. So, in conclusion on this crazy story, me downsizing that McMansion gave me the freedom and the opportunity to discover what I really wanted in life. And yeah, we had to make the financial, changes to make that happen. And I was proud. I mean, I was proud walking into Target buying my $19.99 dress, 10 years ago. Like I was very proud to be making that choice. But in doing that, it gave me the opportunity to discover what I wanted, who I was, and, allowed me to go out and create financial independence for myself and for our family, and create a business opportunity for myself that, now I'm creating a legacy that will be available to my kids one day if they choose. So I am grateful for the lessons. I'm reminded daily that when those what ifs appear in our head, we have to stop and listen. And sometimes when we realize it's only the fear, like that's not good enough. Sorry, not sorry. That is not good enough. So don't let the fear stop you from, going after what you want. Don't let the fear stop you. And remember that, if you're passionate, baby, anything's possible. Anything's possible with passion. When that passion is gone, that's when you got to really start thinking, because my passion was really gone in my corporate America job, and I was just checking boxes, not happy, checking boxes. And thankfully, a couple of occurrences happened in our life with my small business of 10 years because I didn't realize at the time, but I was kind of starting to lose that passion too. And so, one life altering decision has led to another, to another, to another. And I look at it now, the series and the string of events, and how it's just put me in such a better scenario, emotionally, physically. And I'm grateful for it. I'm just extremely grateful for it. So I don't know if that helps one of you today, but if it does, then great. Thank you again for all the feedback I've gotten from my McMansion story. And anyway, that's it. You guys have a great Wednesday. And again, thank you for just allowing me to be authentic and be honest and share. And hopefully my lessons and my mistakes will resonate with one of you and can be powerful. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye.